away at Verona, and Inter, who had a disappointing result, a marvellous occasion in Italy, but you couldn't ask for a better script than we have here, with both sides having won their opening games, oddly enough by exactly the same scorelines. Juventus, who beat Fiorentina on the opening day of the season 1-0, followed it up with a 1-0 success away to Foggia last Sunday. Milan successful away to Ascoli and beating Cagliari at home. Trapattoni making the change to his team in bringing in Gallia into midfield, replacing Di Canio. And how Milan must have wished that Marco van Basten had passed the fitness check, but Ruud Gullit is there, and Frank Rijkaard, of course, as well. Here's Demetrio Albertini, the number 4, who's been getting rave reviews from the Italian press for his performances so far this season, having been recalled by Milan. He was a junior at the club, did play a couple of first-team games a couple of years ago. But Juventus look to Baggio. De Agostini. Here's Marocchi, wearing number 7 today. Reuter. Well, he's done enough to worry Milan here. Retrieved by De Agostini on the far side, and that's going to be a corner. But it was Stefan Reuter who collected the ball relatively unattended, and then an early shot from De Agostini found Rossi on his toes. Sebastiano Rossi, who is now Milan's first choice goalkeeper, having taken over from Casagli towards the end of last season. And it's a confident start, really, Reuter, with that run that forced the position on the right, showing the intentions of Trapattoni's team here. Evani trying to do likewise on the left for Milan. He'll be, as usual, expected to do the fetching and carrying on this side of the pitch, and he does it very well indeed. A very loyal servant to the club. Cola. Now Julio Cesar. Carrera, in his first season here from Bari. Taken on well by Marocchi. Franco Baresi stepping in. There's been so much speculation in the days leading up to this match as to how the two teams would approach the task. And whoever wins here, if we do have an outright winner, will be sure of topping the table tonight. Serena taking on the number 9 shirt from Van Basten. A mistake by Julio Cesar, and Gullit was onto it in a flash. And here's Gullit again. And, well, it didn't work out for him. But the Dutchman dispossessed the Brazilian, close to a rather agitated Italian goalkeeper. Milan will certainly be pleased to have Maldini involved again after his suspension. Donadoni starting on the right. It really is a squad of great depth, built to last the championship course, they feel. Gullit going in, and I'm wondering whether, in fact, that should be a corner. Jumping with Jurgen Kohler. But it's a goal kick that's been given. Juventus tired of hearing that they haven't won the championship since 1986. They prefer for us to talk about the fact that they've won it 22 times. Exactly double the number of championship successes that their opponents today have. Their most recent title in 1988, when the Dutchman arrived to excellent effect. Coped with well by Costa Curta, but already there are signs that Juventus are just collecting the ball in behind the Milan midfield, and that might suit Baggio. Here's Maldini. Hullet. Trying to link up with Serena. Albertini. And Donadoni's got free and was helping it first time in the centre. I think if he'd perhaps been advised that he'd got the space, he'd made it with an excellent run, darted in behind the Juventus back line. He would have tried to just cushion the ball for himself. Baggio. Well, the flag has gone up for offside, to the consternation of the Juventus supporters. Milan, of course, do favour this square back line. Certainly they did under Arrigo Sacchi, now under Fabio Capello, who incidentally is a former player with both these clubs. I just wonder whether they will adopt the same approach. They were grateful for the linesman then. Baresi. Maldini's header as he was challenged by Reuter. Oh, and look at this. Serena and Kola squaring up to each other. There was that ill feeling in the pre-season meeting between the two sides for the Berlusconi Trophy, when Juventus went to Milan, won by 2-1, 2 goals from Casiraghi. It's ended amicably here between the two combatants. But Maldini was sent off pre-season for getting involved with Casiraghi. One wouldn't expect, given the high level of professionalism in the Italian game, that there would be any real legacy in this match from what happened before the battle was supposed to seriously commence. Maldini. Rijkaard. Schillaci. And on he goes, and he's tripped by Albertini. That's got to be a yellow card. Well, it was another occasion where, although it was a front player coming back to collect the ball in Schillaci, that Milan were found wanting a bit in midfield, and Albertini had to turn and chase, and in the end he betrayed his inexperience really, and he clattered into the back of Schillaci. He's been booked for that. Rossi with a passing thought or two, I'm sure, about Baggio, but Juventus have also got the Brazilian blast of Julio Cesar as a weapon here. And it is Julio Cesar. Baresi came out a long way to get to that, but the referee didn't take exception to it. And it was a very courageous block. Serena rather easily dispossessed by Kola. had 10 minutes, and the signs are that Juventus are beginning to settle to their stride. Carrera. Steered off by Schillaci, trying to link up with Gallia. Milan setting out their store with Hullet and Serena as the two strikers. They had one or two other options. And there was some speculation here that Hullet would begin the match in midfield. It hasn't turned out that way. Rijkaard. Both Hullet and Rijkaard played for Holland against Poland in midweek. And for Rijkaard, of course, that was a return after what he had called his retirement from the international game. Happily, it was a temporary one. Happily for Holland. That's Albertini's shot. Only just turned 20. And they've got high hopes for him at Milan. Demetrio Albertini. Gallia, taken from him well by Rijkaard. This is Ivani. Milan, like Juventus, able to just focus their attention on the domestic honours this season. Not by choice, of course, but both missing from Europe. Really is a strange scenario. Well held by Stefano Tacconi. Serena coming in for the challenge, just letting Tacconi know that he was around. Cola. Now Carrera. Baresi did come forward that time to get the challenge in and stop Juventus twisting and turning. Ball's rolled into feet as we saw when Schillaci set off on that run, which was rudely interrupted by Albertini. Well, here's Schillaci again. Oh, deflected by Baresi, beaten out by Rossi, returned by Baggio for Casiraghi. Juventus have scored with 12 minutes gone. Schillaci involved, Baggio involved, and rounded off at the far post, typically by Casiraghi. Tough on Rossi, who did well to make the save initially from the deflected shot. Casiraghi's goal. Pierluigi Casiraghi is playing his 50th game in the Italian First Division. And he's marked it in the perfect manner. Juventus 1, Milan 0. Albertini looks to hit back. The goal coming after 12 minutes, and Casiraghi, he scored twice in the pre-season game against Milan for the Berlusconi Trophy, which Juventus won with his 2 goals to 1. And he's made an imprint here straight away. Schillaci, Milan not looking strong defensively, and yet again Schillaci, by collecting the ball deep and taking it on and running at Milan, has caused a yellow card to be produced by referee Delia. First it was Albertini, this time it's Franco Baresi. He felt he had to bring him down. I'm not so sure that was the case, with Costa Curta moving in to get the ball for Milan. But it's a little closer, and maybe more in Baggio's territory now than Julio Cesar. Rossi has given him that near side to aim for. Milan have set their wall, and Baggio, well, we knew what he was trying to do. I think everyone in the stadium, including goalkeeper Rossi, were aware of what might have been on. Rossi had a good time when he replaced Pezzali at the end of last season. Played 9 league games, 7 clean sheets, including one here when Milan came in May and went away with a 3-0 win. But he's already been beaten, no fault of his really. He tried to deflect the ball behind after Baresi had interfered with the original shot by Schillaci. Now referee Delia has gone the length of the pitch to talk to Tacconi, who is the Juventus captain. Presumably not fully satisfied with the behaviour of both teams. Collet was looking questioningly at the referee, but the game hasn't been stopped. Cola. Baggio. The problem for Milan is to stop the service to Schillaci. So much is coming through him. Well, Trapattoni must be delighted. They're playing well, they've got a goal. Apart from this fixture, of course, he's got a soft spot for Milan. He played for so long for them, twice winning the Italian League Championship, twice the European Cup, the Cup Winners' Cup as well. He was a Milan man as a player, as a coach. He has been the greatest Juventus have ever had. Here's Stefan Reuter, who trained at Wembley on Tuesday and felt a little niggle in his left leg and decided not to risk his fitness against England. Germany didn't miss him. He was going to be sweeper in that game. Germany winning by 1-0. Carrera. Julio Cesar was with the Brazilian squad who were beaten in Wales. Cola did play at Wembley. Marked Gary Lineker and stopped him scoring, but only just. Here's Baggio. Uncertainty on the cross again. Maldini still hasn't cleared it properly. Hoofed back by Reuter. Dangerous play by De Agostini, who'd done so well on the left-hand side in the first place. Showed his studs at the goalkeeper. Collet. Well, Julio Cesar a little lucky perhaps to get away with that and get the free kick. Carrera. Maldini. Rossi anxious to keep Milan on the move with a quick clearance. But they're having to backpedal again. Kept in by Baggio. Milan have lost all their authority defensively. And really, although Baresi's getting called out to try and cope, and really hasn't got too much margin with the referee now, having been already booked, it's the midfield that are not doing their job defensively. Baggio and Schillaci are able to collect the ball really in an area behind Milan's midfield and deep enough to get there before the Milan backline, and it's meaning that this type of episode is far too commonplace for the visiting team. Baggio was able to settle in possession, work out what he was going to do. He's earned the free kick, which I think was the foul committed nearer the touchline than where Baggio is actually taking it himself. Pullet helps it away. De Agostini thought about lining up the shot, crosses instead, and now there's an offside against Schillaci. Schillaci got the winner away to Foggia last week. The game was actually played in Bari, which is close to Foggia in the south of the country, to accommodate the bigger than average crowd. Albertini. Here's Donadoni. Tassotti, really the first chance he's had to make a run ahead of Donadoni. Rijkaard. Really will be a measure of how good Milan might be this season. How they react to a very difficult spell here after making a bright start to the game. Donadoni. And Tacconi went down just to make sure he had it covered. But that was important for Milan to show something extra in attack when in the last 15 minutes or so they've lost one goal and really could have conceded a couple more. Baresi. Here's Donadoni. Lofted forward by Franco Baresi. They shouldn't get carried away with the quality of their play. They've got to sustain it. There's no one really for Tacconi to throw the ball to. The 34-year-old goalkeeper in his 9th season with Juventus. It is seniority that tends to lead to the captaincy in the Italian game. Although he, in his own way, like Baresi, is a strong character. Baresi got to it, but only diverted it to Baggio, who gets into an area here. And Schillaci, as Milan were panicking around Baggio, Schillaci scuffed the shot. Once Roberto Baggio had crossed the line into the penalty area, you could almost see the terror in the eyes of those trying to prevent him going on for goal, panicking about conceding a penalty. Rijkaard. More terrier-like work from Schillaci. And then a foul on Galea. And Serena, who wouldn't put tackling high on his list of qualities, with a clumsy trip. Roberto Gallia preferred to Paolo Di Canio today. Trapattoni just tinkering with his team selection. Albertini. Well, Juventus have just started to retreat a little more rather than compete nearer the halfway line in midfield. Maldini's deep cross. Donadoni coming in. Was that a shove by Tassotti? Could have been construed that way. It hasn't been. Baggio. Well, it's certainly the match of the season so far in Italy. It looked that on paper when the fixtures were announced. It's quite uncanny the way it's turned out that the two teams arrive here with 100% records. Only one can leave with that record intact, and Reuter, the sprinter from Bayern Munich, really thrilling the crowd there as he moved into overdrive. Baggio. Remember, Juventus released Thomas Hessler, sold him on to Roma to accommodate one of the two West Germans. There was a spare berth in any case, with only the two foreigners employed by Juventus last season. No offside. This is Schillaci. We haven't seen too much of Casiraghi apart from the goal, but you certainly know where he's going to be when the crosses come in. Broken up by Carrera. The Juventus supporters are revelling in what they're seeing so far. Still a long haul in a match of this magnitude, but they've had tough times here. Milan, of all clubs, really put them in their place last May. They were 2 up in 12 minutes and won 3-0. Evani getting some treatment. Quickly back into the fray. Marocchi. And De Agostini goes on and only finds the head of Costa Curta. Away by Baresi. Serena having to come deep to help out. Evani. Cola in for a split. He marked Marco van Basten man for man when West Germany played against Holland in the World Cup. I'm sure he's delighted that he hasn't got to take care of him today. Tassotti, Donadoni ahead of him. That was mistimed by Carrera, back from Tassotti. And there's Schillaci, taking up just the sort of position that's troubled Milan, really, from the opening minutes of the game. A lovely ball by Gallia. Casiraghi waits for help. It arrives from Baggio. And there wasn't much Milan could do as that move built up. Just over 10 minutes remaining in the first half. Rossi claims it in the crowd. The goalkeeper who was signed from Cesena, where he had 3 seasons in the first division with a club that was subsequently relegated after his departure. Albertini, Rijkaard. Evani, Serena, it's happening through the centre. Oh! Well, it was Donadoni's shot, and I'm not quite sure what Taccone was thinking of with the save. In beating it away, he pushed it straight back into the danger zone and very nearly produced an own goal. Evani to take the corner. Well, that time, Pietro Delia, who's a referee who's very hot on the physical contact in the penalty area, could have given a free kick against Hullet for pushing, but didn't. Now just under 10 minutes to go to the half-time break. Galea wrong-footing Baggio. Baresi. Now Hullet. 1 or 2 signs that Milan have weathered some of the Juventus storm. Serena and Hullet had made an angled run, hoping to feed off Serena's strength in the air. Julio Cesar. Now Carrera. That's a good tackle by Albertini on Marocchi. Hullet has hit it well, and Taccone, I must say, hasn't covered himself in glory in this first half. The ball got away from him again, as Ruud Hullet connected with plenty of power. That was what troubled Taccone. The shot well within his reach. And Serena was coming in. Well, he could complain that he didn't see it. It might have just flicked off Julio Cesar. It was a fumble, but he knocked it away from Serena, who was moving in for the kill. Meanwhile, it's a free kick to Juventus. And De Agostini gets a yellow card for deliberating for too long over it. That's certainly taken him by surprise. Now De Agostini does take the free kick. First to react was Baresi. Donadoni almost took it out. Hullet. Rijkaard going to the right. Albertini on the ball. It's good midfield defending by Marocchi. Excellent play. It was a useful run from Frank Rijkaard. but it was matched stride for stride by Giancarlo Marocchi. Part of the considerable appeal of this match is that although Juventus are playing well, you do feel that Milan have enough muscle to not be ruled out of a recovery. Baresi in a spot of difficulty again. Serena with not a good first touch. Rijkaard. Tassotti. Albertini's got some room in which to work. And he's got a free kick as well. A new face for you. He is a Milan product. And he made his debut in the red and black stripes as a 17-year-old. And then was moved out on loan to widen his experience. Played for Padova last season. And then got a call to return to the colours. Would be a great time for Milan as Rijkaard lets fly to level it just before half-time. Evani. 4 minutes to go to the break, plus any stoppage time that Pietro Delia wants to add on. Haven't been too many interruptions in play. There's been no slackening of the speed of the game. Trapattoni, who is criticised as a coach for being defensive, if one dare criticises a man with his record. Defensive in away games. They're certainly taking the game here at home to Milan, and they're two high-profile characters, Baggio and Schillaci, very involved, and Casiraghi, who is an emerging player, has played once for Italy already, on hand to give them that extra dimension, particularly on crosses, and you've seen that most obviously here when he nodded in the only goal of the match so far. Here he is, Pierluigi Casiraghi, still only 22. Albertini. Maldini to Hullet, who was trying to turn and wrong foot Cola. That takes a bit of doing. Costa Curta. Banged long by Baresi over Cola this time, but he still gets to it first. Hullet's happy with the throw. A massive throw from Hullet, and Casiraghi doesn't spend too much time in his own penalty area, but he knew what to do then. That's a miss hit by Reuter. Apparently, Trapattoni only found out that Reuter wasn't playing when he switched on his television to watch the England against Germany match. You can imagine his worry. But Reuter's returned well enough to take part today, and that really all that matters to Trapattoni. Rijkaard. Hullet. Albertini, can he juggle a way through here? Pushed out, again by Taccone. It was an authentic save that time from Albertini, who is a midfield player with an eye for goal. They're calling him the new Ancelotti, and he can tackle too, as he showed then on Casiraghi. But he's hurt himself in the process. But it was a fine try, illustrating his capacity really. He manipulated the ball onto his weaker side and still got in a good enough shot to really trouble Taccone. And then was alert enough not to rest on his laurels, but was in there biting to win the ball back and earn Milan maybe a last chance to level it before half-time. And Hullet. Milan are proficient in the air with Maldini and Hullet, even without Van Basten. Of course, they've got Serena's strength in that department as well. We certainly felt last season that they were the best in Italy at set plays, that they practiced them more and profited more from them. The target for Juventus here is to get through to half-time with their lead intact. They look now at the referee, who has eyes on Taccone and any potential time wasting. Casiraghi. Reuter. Forward players won't be settling for half-time. They'll be looking to try and make another chance. And the attitude in midfield might be a bit more cautious. But here's Cola. Donadoni tricked there beautifully by De Agostini, and a second time. Lovely play from him. And it was Jurgen Cola, whose shot was charged down. Baresi has just given a bit of depth to the defending then, and they needed it too. Rijkaard, play on. The referee was going to blow for a foul, and he saw that Milan had the advantage. 2 minutes of stoppage time. But now it is half-time in Turin. The first half to delight the statisticians. The Juventus goal is their one, and maintain their 100% record. They are set fair at 1-0, but as Baggio reflects on possession being lost again, I must say, if I was a Juventus supporter, I would be feeling anxious at this stage. Operating mostly on the right, Serena. Certainly one route to a chance for Milan, to loft the ball into Serena's head. But in taking off Donadoni, who's got those twinkling feet and the capacity to open a game in a moment of magic, they're looking for a different approach without him. Here's Reuter. Schilacci seemed to be going for the ball, and then it was a late ball by Maldini. We're 3/4 of the way through what is undoubtedly Italy's match of the day. It's lived up to that. Costa Curta. Baresi. Is there going to be just a chink in the defending of Juventus? If they are going to defend this lead, 78 minutes, they would have to be in front. It's a long time. Rijkaard threatening their position again.
Signori, Enrico troppo piccolo o Malvina Moro sono pregati di presentarsi presso la sala monitor polizia dello stadio.
Well, the shot may well have taken that deviation off Milan's Cornacchini. That's why it's a goal kick. Having looked initially that it should have been a corner. Well, Serena ran into Julio Cesar in passing then. He really does look a candidate to get into more serious trouble. The game at the moment has descended into less of a spectacle because of the stopping and starting that the referee is insisting upon. Colette. And he was hoping to see an avenue that he could exploit them. The longer-term future of Ruud Gullit is under some question because Milan have signed another foreign player for next season, the young Yugoslav Boban. If he plays, one of the Dutchmen has to go. Gullit's talent not under question, but his fitness still fears that he hasn't fully overcome the knee trouble that dogged him a couple of years ago and that threatened his career. Schillaci held up first by Rijkaard and then by Baresi. Buoyant enough to stay afloat. De Agostini. Well, that should be a corner. When Juventus were dominating in the first half, De Agostini was an influential figure in that. Baggio takes the corner, Rossi leaves it to the defenders. Cornacchini not really doing the right thing there, not looking up to see what help was available. Gullit. Albertini. Serena's gone into the centre. Rijkaard on the ball. Oh, and Serena might get to it. And Tacconi just pushed it away from Serena's head. The game goes on with the other number 9, Schillaci. Until he goes down, Milan feel that he's dived. Reuter, the player who missed the international for Germany in midweek, doesn't go the full distance here. And his replacement, Gianluca Lupi. One of the characters who came in that package deal from Bologna at the start of last season, including the coach Maifredi. Schillaci. Has that crossed the line? Well, looked to me as though it might have done. The linesman saw nothing wrong. Gullit. Oh, it's a wonderful try. And he's not a beaten man yet. Nor is he. Now, all coming from a contentious piece of work by Rossi right on his own goal line. But Milan swept the length of the field, and that was the Ruud Gullit of old. It was a rasping shot, thudded into the chest of Stefano Taccone. It's Gullit's cross, and Taccone catching, and Serena letting the goalkeeper know he was around. They've been teammates in the past, they've been adversaries many times in many big games. The extra dimension here is that Aldo Serena is walking a tightrope with the referee now. Tassotti. Played wide by Costa Curta. Still Milan go forward. Still they get just as far as the edge of the Juventus penalty area. Luckily played by Lupi, the substitute, who goes on in support of Schillaci, and then finds that there's still Baresi, a barricade for Milan. That's very comforting indeed. Tassotti. Rijkaard. Lupi. Baresi is there again. 54 times he's played for Italy, Franco Baresi. Is in his 15th season with Milan. And you do feel that they wouldn't have achieved all their greatness of recent seasons without him. Serena, who shields it well with his back to the goal, but he can't turn and twist like Van Basten can and get in behind defenders. Less than 15 minutes to go. Juventus still holding their one-goal lead. Alberigo Ebani with the corner for Milan. And Gullit! It was a marvellous header, and Taccone stuck out an arm. I said in the first half that Milan are always likely to make something in the air. And there's a lovely exchange there, respectful, between goalkeeper and the frustrated Ruud Gullit. As there's a change now for both sides. Coming on for Milan, Diego Fuser, who replaces Ebani. But it's hardly time to reflect on what Gullit did. Angelo Alessio will take over from Schillaci, who's given his all. But they want some fresh legs up front.
La Juventus sostituisce il numero 9 Schillaci con il numero 14 Alessio.
But Gullit got to the corner first, and once he connected as sweetly as he did, you thought it would be the equaliser. Taccone had other ideas. Rijkaard trying to meet the ball in from Fuser this time. Julio Cesar defending well for Juventus. And away goes Baggio. I think he was looking for a foul, and he hasn't got it. Gullit. Turned back nicely to him by Tassotti. Gullit testing out Juventus again. Moved away by Gallia. Well, surely Milan will come no closer without actually scoring than when Gullit rose proudly to the corner. And Tacconi just stuck out that left hand. Baresi. Tassotti. Oh, and Gullit's got the better of Marocchi, and it's put in by Serena, almost identical to Casaragi's goal that counted, but this one doesn't. Referee Delia ruling that Gullit had fouled Marocchi to regain possession. And the referee making it quite clear to all concerned with Juventus that he won't be fooled here, that this is time wasting. Marocchi knows what's required of him in these circumstances. Well, they were shoulder to shoulder there, and I just wonder whether Marocchi, who clearly made a meal of what happened after that, could have been the player called into question rather than Gullit, and it's certainly a talking point. Milan didn't elaborate with their protests, and with this referee that's a very wise attitude to take. Well, it's going to go down to the wire here in Turin. There was more football played from Juventus in the first half. They've been driven back in the second, and still Milan can't manufacture a goal that their play over the second period merits. Tassotti. Baresi got there first, Maldini. Well, it was Serena who met it, but not decisively. It's Carlo Ancelotti leading the chorus from the touchline. The right card. Now Maldini. Not quite the shape on the left-hand side now since Ivani's been taken off. Julio Cesar got there. Here's Fusa. He's a fine striker of the ball, as that effort showed. Fusa originally began with Torino, came to Milan, had a season with Milan, then was loaned last season to Fiorentina. Milan called him back for this campaign. Well, Juventus will be looking longingly at the clock. Here's Baresi. Is this going to be the moment for Milan? Konakini, who gets his cross in. Oh, and Baresi, it didn't drop for him, and then when it did, he looked a bit like a fish out of water. Fuser. Serena's in the middle. Konakini was there as well. Juventus just trying to run the ball to some semblance of safety with Alessio. It stopped in play. Right on the marking on the far side. Baresi trying to put pressure on the referee, knowing that if he keeps complaining, there's just a chance that if something contentious happens in the time that remains, the decision might go in Milan's favour. Well, they got the call then. There's no foul by Costa Curta. Casiraghi can only try and keep Milan occupied at the back. There's been no real possession in midfield for Juventus in the second half. They've just backpedaled and defended from here. Well, it's been a growing menace to them. The onus on Casiraghi to make Milan struggle defensively, and he shouldered that responsibility well then. This is all going to take a bit of time. The placing of the ball for the free kick. Well, would be the best of his wins since he came back. The man that's known as the Messiah here in Turin. Gallia doesn't really want to shoot. Not in his nature to pepper away at goal from 25 yards. And was looking to pass the responsibility elsewhere. And here's Hullet. Can Milan recover and salvage something in the 5 minutes or so that remains? Last season, Juventus were poor defensively. Milan showed them how it should be done. They let in just 19 goals in 34 league matches. This season, they've let in one. The goal that you've seen here this afternoon. But it's looking more and more as though it's going to send them to defeat. Baggio. Casiraghi backed off him. Alessio was away to the right. Baggio again. And again. Pulled down by Costa Curta. He's had no chance to shine the way the second half has gone, but once more his capacity to keep the ball when he does get it brought about an indiscretion from an opponent, Costa Curta. Pietro Delia will be considering soon how much time he's going to add on. Milan will hope that that's considerable. Scalia want to shoot this time though, and the flag's up for offside against Morocchi, who's spent most of the half keeping the Milan midfield at bay. Here come Baresi's team again, with the captain at the helm. And once more, Cassotti to his right, pull it in the middle. Albertini, Serena trying to get free in the centre. And Cornacchini as well. Juventus just leaving Casiraghi upfield. And the home support playing a part. You can see Milan have had the greater share of possession. But no share of the goals. Alessio was nicely delivered to Galea, who's got the referee to contend with. And the crowd bellow their disapproval at that. Really was responsible for Juventus losing the ball when their whole philosophy here is to keep it if they can. I think we've seen again that even though it wasn't a vintage Van Basten last season, how much he still means to Milan and their hopes of regaining the title. Unless they give us a last-ditch drama here, they failed to score without him, but this could be the goal that Milan are craving for. Not quite. Tassotti. He can shoot, and he does. Tacconi had some moments of misadventure in the first half. He's been troubled in the second, but he's done his bit. And he will feel that that shot was covered. It's stoppage time now. It was a freak of the fixture list that paired these two great rivals together at this stage. When the fixtures came out of the computer, no one would realise that Milan would come here with 2 wins out of 2 to take on Juventus with an absolutely identical record. 2 goals scored, none conceded. It was a straight head-to-head. What advantage, I suppose, was home advantage. Juventus added to that with some stylish play in the first half. They really set off to win the game and win it quickly and decisively. Now Fuser. And Juventus keep him at bay. Tassotti's cross, Hullitz on the far side. Maldini, Albertini, deflected, a goal! An own goal by Carrera with some 75 seconds added on in stoppage time. And Milan, astonishingly, I've got an equaliser here when the game seemed all over. Just brushed as Albertini volleyed it back in, the head of Carrera, and that was crucial. The supporters acknowledge the success, belated though it is. Milan have shown plenty of resolution in the way they've kept going forward in the second half. Juventus seemed to settle for what they had, and how often have we seen it that 1 goal is not enough? And in Italy, well, they have a deserved reputation for amazing finales, and we've had another one here in such a major match. The forces of law and order having to step in just to keep the Milan followers calm, but they scarcely could have believed what they have witnessed, and Juventus must feel likewise. They were counting the seconds down, and the game's still not over as we go towards a 3rd minute of time added on And to the credit of referee Delia, he's clearly indicated on a number of occasions when Juventus players have been down and making a meal perhaps of so-called injuries that he had his eye on the watch. Well, it's a lesson for everyone. Play to the last whistle, which we have now. Juventus thought that they were going to be 6 points out of 6, 3 wins out of 3. But now we've got two sides with 5 points apiece and still with identical records after a 1-1 draw here, in which there was a real sting in the tail. Juventus played with style in the first half and were